exciting.
But I've been chewing the gum, and I don't like the gum because it makes my jaw hurt.
All right.
So I was just told about these, and I like these very much because I don't want to smoke. I don't
exciting.
like smoking.
All right.
Smoking is bad. Hopefully.
Okay.
I don't like it. I'm done with it.
Let's be over.
I'm done with it.
You know what's good? Nicorette things.
Well, obviously I haven't lost enough weight.
Brooke, can you just say your name and your outlet?
I'm Josh Brolin. I'm an Oldboy.
And I'm Brooke Blumberg with FilmDistrict.
Thank you.
Right on.
Anytime you're ready.
Okay, Josh. This is a crazy, twisted ride with unpredictable turns. Can you talk about what kind of drew you to the role?
Exactly what you just said. Crazy ride with unpredictable turns, which was very well put, even though it was written down. It is. It's just the unpredictability of something like this. You don't know how you're going to go about it. You're not, you can create some great scientific graph of how this person should behave in this situation, and then you do your research, and 90% of that research is not applicable when you finally get down to it. And Spike has his own ideas of, okay, let's turn this music on, and I'll put an 11-minute mag on, and you just go, and if you're naked, great, and if, maybe we'll put a mouse in the room and then deal with him, and you know what I mean? So it's like experimental theater in that way. You have a general blueprint of what you want to do, but with Spike, it's going to be fairly experimental, which is daunting and a lot of fun. The idea of it is a lot of fun. The executing of it is very strange, but the idea is fun.
But fun, maybe.
But fun.
You talked about preparing yourself for this role, and Adrian references the 5 stages of grief and what we all kind of feel responsible for as our actions. Who is Joseph Doucette, and how does he kind of resign himself to his imprisonment?
Well, I don't know who Joseph Doucette is. I don't think Joseph Doucette knows who Joseph Doucette is, and that's kind of the point of the film, is he's put in this, he comes across as a very selfish, self-centered guy who's put in this position with this makeshift prison to confront himself, and he's not let out until somebody else decides, but until he fully confronts himself. And I think when you're given a mirror and not able to turn away from it, it's interesting, the stuff that manifests, and all the anger and resentment and shame and all that stuff that this plays with, and the insanity of him being in there, the loneliness of him being in there, and then actually finding some kind of escape in his head, and then that not working anymore. So he goes through every emotion there is to go through. That's interesting to me. I remember when just being a writer and going to prisons and talking to inmates and people who had been there for like credit card fraud and having 3 strikes and suddenly doing 20 years in prison. You go, how do you make that adjustment? How is that possible? So that was really informative to me. But I don't know, man. It's weird and it's morbid, but it's interesting to me.
You worked on this with a great ensemble cast. What was it like kind of creating the chemistry?
You don't create chemistry. You can act chemistry. You can act as if you like somebody. But it's much easier when there's just natural chemistry there. And with Elizabeth, there absolutely was. I wish we could have kind of delved into, if it had been a 30-minute longer film, we could have delved into that relationship more, only because I liked it. I think she's a phenomenal actress who I have a load of respect for, especially because of her age. She has these emotional depths that I don't know how she's able to do that at her age. But, and Sharlto went for it, and, he did something very extreme, which I think was amazing. It's walking a razor's edge. And, yeah, I have a lot of respect for all the people that were involved.
Your intensity and conviction in the film is absolutely striking and raw. Could you easily walk away from that character after
I couldn't wait to walk away from that character. That's the thing, is like some people want to stay in that, and I appreciate that totally, and other people want to do what I do and just kind of like get as far away from it as possible. So I feel like there's something that you're delving into because then it hits you harder. For me, so if I'm popping out of a trunk or whatever that is, conceptually you have an idea of how you want it to be, but then when you're in it and the thing is closed and you're inside and you hear rolling and you're like, what am I going to do? Is this, and you just try and you make that switch and hope that it's as real as possible, as embarrassing as it may feel. So I try to have as good a time as I can, so I'm as affected as an actor in the story as hopefully the audience is watching the movie.